Now, before we go on to our first panel for the day, we are delighted to be joined by the Financial Conduct Authority, who are going to be telling us why supporting innovation can lead us to build a better financial services system for all, and what role regulation has to play in opening up access to new financial services for more people. So to tell us, let's please welcome the FCA's Head of Department for Innovation, Ravi Bhalla.
Thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me. I must say, already so far, just fantastic energy, enthusiasm from our speakers, and will be a hard act to follow. So, let me just start off by just outlining some of the context as to what we see. So in the last year, we've seen several significant market events. We've seen the collapse of FTX, Silicon Valley Bank and Credit Suisse, to several significant moments in tech, with the release of ChatGPT, the clampdown on TikTok, and most recently the government white paper on artificial intelligence and the upcoming AI Safety Summit. The use of data and technology continues to transform financial services. In 2021, IBM published a report outlining that 90% of all data created in the last has been created in the last 2 years. A recent CIO report outlined that 80 to 90% of the data we generate today is unstructured. So this presents tremendous opportunities and risks, which we as a regulator are mindful of. As we are transforming too, we're working intensely to leverage data more effectively, to innovate, to protect consumers, enable growth, and also to transform our operations internally. Yet this scene setting only represents part of the story, and Janine and others have already touched upon many elements of this. With a cost of living crisis compounded by inflationary pressures, in turn adversely impacting consumers and wider society. It's important that we as the regulator recognise our role, and each of us in this room recognise our respective roles in how we can truly be a force for good in the FinTech ecosystem. And this is going to be vitally important when we think about how we create impact, how we are going to make a difference, particularly for those who are most vulnerable or the most vulnerable elements of our society, including our planet. So with that, the FCA welcomes the publication of this FinTech for Impact report. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Ravi Bhalla. I'm Head of Innovation for the FCA and also Chair of the Global Financial Innovation Network. And in the messages that I'm sharing today, it's important to recognise that there is a fantastic, talented department who are working in the FCA, in innovation, who are supporting and working tirelessly to support firms, the markets and consumers, along with contributing towards the FCA becoming a digital and data-led regulator. So jointly with the Bank of England, we regulate financial markets here in the UK, and our primary objective is to make markets work well. And that's underpinned by our operational objectives: market integrity, consumer protection, and competition. So why does the FCA even have an innovation agenda? Well, we have an innovation agenda because we believe that beneficial innovation can be a positive driving force for promoting competition in the interest of consumers, which is one of our 3 operational objectives. But additionally, if we have a regulator which is supportive of customer-centric, innovative business models, this can help preserve market integrity and protect consumers. So effectively, our innovation agenda is intrinsically linked to all 3 of our operational objectives. So in doing so, we want to create room for the most innovative companies to enter the market, to support innovation that has genuine potential to improve the lives of consumers. So not innovation for innovation's sake, but beneficial innovation. And we've seen, as I mentioned at the beginning, an emergence of a whole raft of technologies We can recognize the fact that AI has been here for a long time, actually, but is developing. We've seen the emergence of crypto, Web 3.0, for example. We're investing our research capabilities into quantum technologies. And whilst the FCA is technology agnostic, it's our role to balance the interests of consumers and markets in the context of those. So how do we actually go about doing this? Well, let me just start off by saying that the FCA is a regulator which is pro-innovation, and we are increasing our commitment to being more innovative, adaptive, and assertive in the digital age. We believe in responsible innovation that expands consumer choice whilst balancing the needs of consumers and mitigating the risks that can be inherent with novel innovations. So what we want to do is to be a key enabler for the delivery of the FCA strategy, which seeks to reduce and prevent serious harm, set and test higher standards, and promote competition and positive change. So there's three key things I would really like you to take away from this. The first is we are pro-innovation and we are increasing collaboration with industry. Secondly, we want to set the new global gold standard for regulatory innovation. And it's our aim to promote competition and positive change for the benefit of consumers. So I'm going to unpack each of those three. So it's already been referenced, but the historical roots of our department lies in our firm support services. To give you a sense of the scale that we've had. So in the 9 years, we've received over 2,500 applications and supported almost 900 firms. We've received almost 2,000 registrations through our digital sandbox. And I'll unpack very shortly each one of our services, but all of our services are open to authorized and unauthorized firms. That includes incumbents through to new startups who are developing innovative business models with a clear consumer benefit. And it's fantastic to hear from Zilch today in terms of where they are in their journey, and just a big thank you for them allowing us to actually be on the very early stages of that journey as well. So we're most known for our regulatory sandbox. Our regulatory sandbox allows firms with innovative business models to test live in the market with real consumers on a controlled basis, and we provide our regulatory oversight to that. The FCA were the first to establish the regulatory sandbox, and that has been something which has been emulated across the world. I believe that there's probably around 70 different variations globally of the sandbox. To date, we've supported over 168 firms through testing into the regulatory sandbox, and we've supported firms across many sectors within financial services, from asset management to insurance to retail banking, using technologies such as blockchain, open banking, artificial intelligence, to name a few. We also have a service called Innovation Pathways, and this is something which we have refreshed and rebranded that service in 2022. But really, that is a service where we provide quick, tailored regulatory support to firms who want to understand how does their business model fit into our regulatory regime? Where are the gaps or perceived gaps with our rules, and how can we make sense and clarify that? How does that influence future policy design? So we've supported over 700 firms through providing that service. And finally, and you probably would have heard quite a bit of airtime around this in the news on our digital sandbox. So our digital sandbox provides a secure test environment for firms who might not quite be ready to test with live consumers. Maybe they're much earlier stage in their innovation life cycle. Perhaps it carries higher risk. So what we do, we provide synthetic data assets within an integrated development environment for them to validate those early proof of concepts. So as of 1st of August, we actually made that an always open capability. So that now means that all three of our firm support services are open to firms 24/7, anytime access. And since we've launched, we've had 73 applications since we've launched the permanent version, so over the last few months. We've also made it easier for firms to navigate our services, so we have one single innovation front door to access. We also provide chatbot capability to help firms along their journey to understand which service might be relevant for them, as well as an automated decision tree. Our application form has feedback mechanisms, so we can try and ensure that what we do and the experience that we provide to firms is as seamless as possible. Recognizing that I'm timing out and I've only got a very short amount of time. We've also established an innovation advisory group for the ecosystem to act as a critical friend to our work program, and it's great to see many faces here today who really help ensure that our work program is as seamless as possible. Also, just coming on to our second message in terms of setting the new global gold standard for regulatory innovation, we have a number of key differentiators in our portfolio, particularly in terms of our long-standing commitment to AI, our world-first approach in terms of our tech sprint and policy sprint model, and the Global Financial Innovation Network. So in the space of AI, we've contributed to influence in future policy development with the AI Public-Private Forum, working with the Bank of England. We've also published an AI discussion paper last year, and we're due to publish a feedback statement. Nick Hill, our CEO, has been public with the mention of the FCA is developing an AI-led sandbox, and we're also working with 4 other regulators on a pilot which is focused on AI and adjacent technologies. So that's just to give you a bit of a sense on that. In the Global Financial Innovation Network, that is something that the FCA chairs, and it has around 80 regulators as part of that. We recently launched a GFIN greenwashing tech sprint, which was aligned to identifying technologies, solutions which mitigate against the risks of greenwashing. So we worked with 14 international regulators, 13 firms as part of that, and we're working with those regulators to develop solutions. And just lastly, on positive change for consumer benefits. So we have a whole host of market data that we publish on the FCA's website. We have launched a DEI Spotlight Challenge, which really looks at how we can play a role in encouraging communities, those from underserved communities, to work with us on their business models and to support areas of the market which are underserved. And also our new consumer duty. We mentioned about regulation. That is the FCA's customer-centric regulation, which is all about enhancing the duty of care to consumers and firms. I'm recognizing that we are probably almost out for time, so happy to touch upon any of those aspects during the breaks. But I hope that just gives a little bit of a flavor in terms of our role in the ecosystem, working with many of you to make our environment flourish for the future. So we continue to adapt our operating model and look at ways that we can future-proof what we're doing so we can serve future generations of innovators. Thank you very much.